Good morning and welcome to Waking Up with Don. I'm here at Creative Gems here in Panama City with Nick Adamson. Nick,
hey there.
Thanks for letting us into your business.
We appreciate it. Thank you very much.
This is just such a beautiful place. I look around, I see all this gorgeous jewelry here. Now, where does this jewelry come from?
Well, a lot of it's handmade here in the store. This in particular is estate and vintage jewelry that we've acquired over time. We have a lot of nice contacts in the area, so we help people refurbish their jewelry, and sometimes they leave it with us.
Now, what's the advantage of shopping in a place like this than, say, maybe a big store at the mall in their jewelry
It is a
department?
family business, so because of that, we're able to do the work here in-house. Everything's made here. We have a lot of contacts that allow us to bring high-end, high-quality jewelry at a fraction of the price you would pay in maybe some of the other places.
So you actually create jewelry here, you build jewelry here.
Absolutely, from scratch. We do everything that you can think of. It's as close to, we like to say, is an old-time jewelry store where they would do everything in-house, from watch repair to hand making of jewelry. Everything's done right here.
Now, someone who builds jewelry, what would you call it? Was that a gemologist or
Master jeweler is
master
what we go by.
jeweler?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Now, you're a master jeweler, right?
Yes, sir.
Now, how do you learn such a trade? I mean, where do you go to school for that? Or
Apprenticeship really is the thing. In my case, my grandfather was a master watchmaker and a jeweler. He taught my father, and my father taught me, so been blessed with a lot of experience in the family. I would say apprenticeship is probably the best way to learn the business in general, because you are in hands-on and get all the facets of the business.
So this is really kind of a father-son type trade that has been handed down over the generations to you.
Absolutely.
And now you're here in Panama City.
Yes.
And we're glad you're here. Now, you came from somewhere else. You moved to Panama City.
Southern California is originally where the family was. We had some jewelry stores over there. My father's had 2 stores over there, and they were robbed. And so unfortunately, we got out of that scene, and we're suggested to come here to Panama City. We would love it on our way down to South Florida. We never made it down to South Florida. We stopped here. I think we got here on a Sunday, bought a house on Wednesday, and have been here ever since.
It really is Florida's best kept secret.
Absolutely.
Northwest Florida.
Yep.
You know, I got here quite by accident myself.
Yeah.
I was stationed here with the Air Force, and I retired out of Tyndall. And Air Force would have sent me anywhere I wanted to retire, and I said, let's stay here.
I couldn't pick a better place.
I know. I certainly agree. Now, why would someone come here? Now, say I have an old piece of jewelry that I don't like anymore, or maybe I want to do something to it. You can redesign that.
Absolutely.
For me?
In fact, that's what we do mainly. We do a lot of what we would call recreations. So people would come in. You have an old ring, but it's just not suiting you anymore. It's a big, giant cluster ring, and that's not your style. We can take and re-sketch a new piece for you. Use the materials that are there, recast it, and we even show you a 3D design before it's done, so you can see the product before we go into making it. And then create the piece from that, and you get to repurpose grandma's old ring and still have all the materials that were there, but in a new fashion piece for yourself.
Well, maybe after these commercial breaks, you can show me how you redesign that type of stuff.
Absolutely.
And I guess it's some sort of CAD/CAM process, is that right?
CAD/CAM plus old school. It's old meets new. We'll show you the whole thing. We'd be glad to do it.
Well, that's great. I'm here with Nick Adamson at Creative Gems. And now to your local weather, brought to you by the Pittman Firm. I'm here in the office of Master Jeweler Nick Adamson here at Creative Gems, and he's going to show us how you design this stuff. Now, I'm a customer, Nick, and I come in and I say, hey, I want you to design something for me, and this is what I had in mind. Now, I describe a piece to you. How does it go from there?
Absolutely. We'll give you a little idea with something that we're working on right now. First, you bring me. We come together on the design. We get a little idea of your taste. What it is that you like. Is it traditional? Do you want something a little bit more vintage? You want something contemporary? And once we have that down, we can start the sketch work. And we create a design and fabricate the idea, kind of come up with an idea. Come up with a pricing, get your price point, and once we've reached that, then we can come to this part.
So you get an idea of what we want, we set the parameters of how far we're willing to go cost-wise with this thing.
Absolutely.
And then you sit down and you work your magic over here. Now, what have you got going on here on the screen?
This is a special project that we're doing. This is a solid gold comb for ladies' hair that we're actually creating right now for a nice gentleman who came in. And so he had an idea. This is a gift for his mother, which is beautiful.
How nice.
So what we've created is a vintage feel, scrolled hairpiece. And so what we've done is we can zoom in here, and I've created all this scroll work with the initial of the last name in there. These diamonds are placed through, and then we have the gold comb. And with this software, we're able to spin, look at the 3D image all the way around, actually get a really good visual of the piece, show the client. And then at the same time, we can do this. I have this all set up so that we can render it. And what this does is actually, in 3D, creates a picture that we can see. So we're able to visualize it a little bit closer. Because I know it's tough to see it on that green. And once we look at that, we can make tweaks, adjust it however the customer would like, and make sure it's exactly what they're envisioning and what we're envisioning, so it's the same project we're both working on.
Well, Nick, this is a pretty good visual representation of what the final piece is going to look like.
Absolutely. This allows us both to see the same image. We're able to take a look at the final product together, and this is a lot better than the old days. The old days, we would create a sketch and then hope for the best. This way, we're able to both see what the final product will look like, and that way everybody's happy and we know what we're getting right from the beginning before it's created.
All right, so I sit down here with you. We design this. You get an idea of it. You build it on the computer screen in 3D, so we can kind of look at what the final product's going to be to scale. There'll be no surprises when you go to fabricate this thing.
And now from here, we're able to take this 3D design, and we can create a special G code that now runs on a machinery in the back. So now this can couple with what we're about to show you in the back of the store, and we can have these special robotic computers come down and create the piece for us.
Well, let's go take a look at that stuff.
All right, that sounds good.
Hi, good morning, and welcome back to Waking Up with Don. I'm Zenobia Andrews, your business system strategist, and I'm super excited to be bringing you your Max Biz tips for the week. Are you ready? Are you as ready as I am? I am super excited. You know, we're going to be talking about this week. Our theme for the week is 5 tips to maxing it out. 5 tips is coming straight out of my book, hot, juicy book. 5 tips to maxing it out. And listen, for the first 5 people that email me at info@zenoviaandrews.com, I will send you a free copy of this book, okay? But we're going to be talking about 5 steps to maxing it out. And you say maxing out what? We're going to be talking about maxing out in your relationships, maxing out in your business, in your self-development, in your finances. You know, in order for us to really, truly max it out, you've got to know who you are. I'm going to say that again. You've got to know who you are. You've got to understand that you were created with a purpose. You were created with greatness on the inside of you. And so in order for you to really understand who you are, you've got to be okay with knowing your strengths and your weaknesses. We all have strengths and weaknesses, and it's okay. But we've got to be willing to embrace the process of working on both our strengths and our weaknesses. If you say, you know what, I don't even know what my strengths and weaknesses are, I'm here to share with you a strategy that will help you get to understand those qualities and those traits. Write them down. Write down the things that other people say about you. Write down the things that make you happy. Write down the things that you enjoy doing. And that's a way that you can get to know yourself, okay? This is Zenobia Andrews, your business system strategist, and this has been an awesome Max Biz tip for today. Continue to press towards the max, and we'll go right back to Waking Up with Don.
Hi, I'm Stephen Favaloro, veterinarian at Forest Park Animal Hospital. Today we're going to talk about heartworm disease. Heartworm disease, most people know who have pets, particularly dogs, that are transmitted by mosquitoes. And in the South, it does get cold here, and there's a perception in some people's mind that, well, when it's cold, we don't need to be have our dog on heartworm prevention. And that's not necessarily true, because we do see a lot of heartworm disease, that is transmitted to dogs by mosquitoes during the winter, because you guys know we have 4, 5, 6 cold days depending on certain years. So it doesn't have to be, that cold for heartworms to still be able to harbor in a mosquito's body and be transmitted into a dog. So heartworms are transmitted by mosquitoes. Generally what will happen is a mosquito will bite your dog and inject into it an infective, L3, which is an infective stage heartworm, into the body. And then that'll take a 5 to 6 month trip from the area of injection in the body to the heart, where they become immature heartworms. So what you want to do is we have lots of different heartworm preventions that you can give that are once a month, though. And what happens is you can't stop your dog from being bit by mosquitoes, even if they're indoor. If they're indoor, mosquitoes still get inside, you can still get bit. And they'll transmit them. But if you're on the heartworm prevention, when that mosquito goes from its infective stage to the next larval stage, that's when the heartworm prevention will kill the baby heartworm and prevent it from becoming an adult heartworm. Your heartworm preventions also have, most of them have intestinal parasite protection too. So when you're giving your heartworm prevention once a month, you'll also be deworming against common intestinal parasites like hookworms, roundworms, some do whipworms. So it's good, particularly if you have kids, because a lot of these intestinal parasites are what's called zoonotic, which means they can cross species. So dogs who have intestinal parasites and they somehow can get to your children, and they can migrate into your skin, they can go into your heart, your lungs, your brain, and so there can be a lot of problems with that. So by keeping your dog intestinal parasite free by doing heartworm prevention, it's also healthy for your family. Cats get heartworm disease as well. Not a lot of people know this. 9 to 12%, depending on which study you read, says that cats get heartworms, and a lot of indoor cats get heartworms too. The mosquito likes to transfer the heartworm to cats, likes an indoor environment. And cats don't tolerate heartworms too well. 1 or 2 heartworms is all it takes to kill a cat. One of the most common presentations for a heartworm cat is they're either like coughing like they have asthma, or they're presented dead. So there's a lot of good heartworm preventions that you can give once a month, either topically or orally, that'll prevent your cat from getting heartworms as well. I'm Stephen Favaloro, and that's your health tip for today.
Hi, welcome back. You're probably wondering why I'm wearing these goggles here, or safety glasses as it were. We're in the workshop of Creative Gems, and Nick is going to show us how he melts silver?
Yeah, we're going to create an ingot is what we're going to do. We're going to repurpose silver, some silver that's been brought in, and we're going to actually create an ingot that then we can work with. So you ready to go?
I'm ready to go. I'm ready to help.
Let's get our safety goggles down.
Safety goggles on.
Let's turn this thing on here.
Okay.
Let's get this started.
And that is just an acetylene torch, I would imagine.
It's a propane. We're going to use some propane here in this one. It's a little cleaner.
Okay.
So we're going to get that going good. Get the flame on here.
All right, nice and warm.
Oh yeah, you feel that definitely. Now we have our silver. Watch, as I intensify the heat there, you see it start to melt.
So this is just old jewelry.
Absolutely.
It's all silver.
Work it back and forth a little bit. We don't want to boil any of the metal at one point. What we want to do is just kind of melt it all evenly. But it's beautiful once it's liquefied too. The metal just, all the impurities roll to the bottom and it looks super clean.
So that's pretty darn hot, I would imagine.
Absolutely. Inside of that crucible right now is at least about 2,300 degrees.
About 2,300 degrees. Now, as you melt this down, then you're going to turn this into an ingot. Now, you had mentioned you needed to add borax to that.
Yeah, what we're going to do is we're going to put a little boric acid. And what that does is it joins with the impurities and rolls to the bottom of the crucible. And so it takes any impurities that are floating on the top of the metal and it cleans them off, allowing us to have a better pour. And so what goes into the ingot is clean, pure silver. So it's going to take just a couple of minutes because we've got a lot of material here.
But it really seems to be melting away pretty quickly.
Absolutely.
Now, how much is in there? Do you do it by weight or?
Yeah, what you usually do is figure up a gram weight. In this case, we have a couple of ounces of silver in here.
Okay, and how big is the ingot that we're going to make?
Well, this right here that's the ingot mold that you see there on the counter. And this will probably fill that about halfway in the thickness of the container itself. That ingot mold will probably take up to about 5 ounces of material. So this allows us to roll out sheet of platinum. We can take it through our silver in this case. We can take it to our rolling mill and roll out a sheet of the material. And you see it's starting to liquefy really well. So you can actually roll that back and forth in the crucible. We are almost ready for that boric acid. So
okay, well, you let me know when. I'm ready to help here. I've got my safety equipment on.
See how beautiful that is.
That is really pretty in there.
Oh, we are getting close. Almost there. Don, why don't you, I'm going to pull the torch away and let you go ahead and put a pinch of that in there. All right, that worked good. You see how it bonds to the imperfections and takes those impurities and rolls them to the bottom so the material is actually cleaner. We're going to take one more little pinch of that on there.
Okay, about the same amount?
A little bit less.
A little bit less, okay.
All right.
How's that?
There you go. Look, you're natural. All right. So we make sure that that's nice and liquefied. Now we're about to go ahead and pour that ingot.
All right.
We want to heat the ingot mold right here, get it ready. Make sure that's good and liquid. And pour.
Wow, look at that thing. Look at it go.
And that right there is how it's done.
And that is a silver ingot.
Absolutely.
Now, what goes on with this ingot from here? We just let it cool down,
We're going to let it cool.
Uh-huh.
We don't want to shock it by putting it into water and cooling it, because that's a way of actually tempering the metal. It makes it a little bit more brittle, especially in this case, because we're wanting to take that metal now, we want to roll it into nice long sheets, so we need that as soft as we can get it. And that's why we also put that boric acid in it, kept it soft.
So it keeps it malleable, so you can work with it and turn it into another beautiful creation from Creative Gems.
Absolutely.
Here back in the workshop, I'm here with Nick. And Nick, you took us through the design phase of this comb. Now this is the fabrication phase. And what is this machine and what does it do?
Well, this is our quad access mill. This allows us to take the design from the system on the computer that you see, and we are actually able to write a special code. And that's what you see here. This particular comb is going to take about 10 hours and 57 minutes to carve. So it's a large carving because it's such a big piece. It's already in line 33,000 of each of the codes. There will be a million lines of code before this is done. And takes a special bit with this Dremel and actually carves each of the lines out through the entire piece.
Now that actually is not gold there. What's it carving into? What is that?
This is a very ferrous wax material that we have here that allows us to then take and use the old style casting process called lost wax method. So we're able to take that piece of wax that it carved, which is the blank, and we take that and put that into a flask, fill that with a special investment, and then that is melted away, leaving the impression that then we will fill by what you saw there. We'll melt the metal down just like we did.
And you'll just pour it into that mold that you've created.
Absolutely.
Using that as the form for the mold, I
suppose. That's our blank. That's the form.
Wow, that's really ingenious stuff. And there's our comb over here, I suppose.
Yeah, that's the image that we saw on the computer. It's brought it over. It's showing us what we're doing. This is every one of those red lines is a trajectory that this machine has to follow as it creates this piece from scratch.
Well, that's really cool. I can't wait to see this finished product someday.
Absolutely.
How long does it take from beginning to end?
Most of the time it's about a 4-week process. Depending if it's really a complicated design, sometimes that can stretch out to 5 or 6 weeks if we
So it really all depends on the customer on how intricate or how big or small they want to make this thing.
And we can make exceptions to it. If there's somebody that needs something really fast, we do what we can to fill those orders.
Okay, what do I have in my hand here? It is a 4.5 troy ounce silver ingot that I'm going to have made into a grill. How's that? Or maybe not. It's just a beautiful hunk of metal here, precious metal, that the people here at Creative Gems work with every day. And they can take your old stuff, they can repurpose it, and they can turn it into a brand new beautiful piece of jewelry or a cool little grill like I want to get. So Nick, what is this machine called here and what's he doing?
This is a Rofin high-intensity laser welder. This allows us to use laser beams to weld and fuse metal together. In this case, Matt right here is working on a ring that we're creating, and maybe some little pitting maybe have come up into it, and he can go and smooth those areas out so it's a nice finished product.
And you can see it on the big screen here and see how all it's going.
Yeah, we have it tied like this so that if anybody would like to come in and see the process, watch the jewelry being made, watch something being done, we can do that. With this machine, we're able to actually refurbish jewelry that previously would not be able to be done. So before, when you had to use a torch to do just the work itself, you wouldn't be able to do an opal piece or a vintage piece of jewelry, but now we can refurbish it with this laser.
Because it's so much more precise, and
Absolutely.
you're getting such a better view of it this way too.
And it doesn't heat up like a regular piece would.
It's pretty cool. Nick, thanks so much for showing us Creative Gems. I mean, you've got a great shop here and a great store. Now, if people want to come by and visit, where are you located?
We're 2195 Jinx Avenue. Easier said, we're right between 23rd Street and 19th Street. If you've gone to Doctor's Drive, you've passed us already on Jinx Avenue. You can't miss us. We have the flags out front. And you can find us on the web at creativegemsinc.com, or you can find us on Facebook at Creative Gems Inc. as well.
So Creative Gems, creativegemsinc.com,
Yeah, absolutely.
or Creative Gems on Facebook, or just drive on in and see what the place is all about.
We'd love to see you, yeah.
Beautiful place you have here, Nick,
Thank
and
you
thanks for
very
showing
much.
us around.
I appreciate it.
You've been watching Waking Up with Don. We'll see you next time.